Hello. Can y'all hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me, please? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, right, is I am going to go live on um well, I'm gonna go live on my own page to get the others to come in as well. So you're gonna see two of me now. So let's just give like a good um few minutes. Let's see. Are y'all hearing two of me? Okay, so here with my Sienna wine tonight. So for those of you, um, sorry, I'm very busy pouring my wine. If y'all are joining in from my own personal Instagram account, please click on LesBeHeard account because I'm only going to go live there. I'm not going to be going live on my Rachel SE account anymore. So if you guys are joining in, you guys are here, click on the LesBeHeard account because I'm only going to be live on my account for a very short period of time. I'm going to end soon on the other portion. So if you're not following LesBeHeard, to continue watching this live show, join my LesBeHeard account. Just going to give a few more minutes. Everyone's joining in. I've got a few people who are joining in from my personal account as well. So if you're joining in from my personal account, again, please click on LesBeHeard account. And we'll be doing the live there. Yay, hi. So we've got more and more people joining in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit on my personal account. So last time, if you guys are watching the live from my account, please click on LesBeHeard account and join in there. Perfect. So what was happening, right, was when I was live on the other phone, I keep hearing myself talking, so I'm like, am I saying something right? Am I saying something wrong? I'm not sure. Um, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to type. So as I'm still waiting for some of y'all to join in, just bear with me for 30 more seconds. Okay, okay. Okay, so I have shared it. Hi, everybody. Okay, so we've got 11 people already watching. It's enough from us. So just to let you know, this is our new and improved Let's Talk session. I'm going to start it from episode 1 again. Porting it is over from my own personal account. I realized that in my personal account, I don't post anything much as much as I talk about. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a site that's dedicated fully for this, for you guys actually. And then we can save the IG video for y'all to watch again if you haven't watched it yet. So just wanted to give you guys a bit about Let's Talk. We have done about 3 to 4, okay, maybe 4 to 5 episodes where I had queer friends who came in all the way from transgender to a gay male to a queer female to talk about anything, everything. Mostly their life stories with us on Live Talk, but sometimes it's also topic specific. So this site is fully catered to ladies. right? But here's what happened. I have a lot of followers who also joined us, who were also our queer men, who were more on the feminine side, which they can't really find content over at their own. There are a lot of gay articles and places out there for you to find, but it's very difficult for, especially for feminine men, to find it there. So this is something that I'm catered to for them as well. So we have like an amazing guest today who is going to be joining us. This person watched my previous live IG. I didn't know this person personally before the last session. So what happened was this person dropped me a text and said that, hey, this is something that I would love to do. I would like to give my inputs, my perception for, let me know how and what we can do about it. And then he also did mention this very important thing is that I'm actually not out on my social media, etc. So I was like, are you ready to be out? Because if you're going to go live with me, everybody on your Instagram is going to see it as well. And then he was like, yeah, sure. Hi, my darling wife. We have someone who's put his emotions aside, his fear aside today, and is ready to talk about his life journey. And I'm not sure, we are all supporters here, but I'm not sure if people on his side of social media is going to be bringing him up or bringing him down. So if someone's going to bring him down, we know what to do, guys. Let's educate the fuck out of them. All right, so without further ado, I would like to invite Yen to join me for this live session. Thank you, Miss. It's just spaghetti stripe. I'm wearing my FBT shorts because you can't see my bottom. So let's just give it a few minutes as we wait for Yen to join us on our live session. Yen, let me know if you have got any issues joining us. Let's see, I can go live with. So I'm trying to find a request from him. Let's see.
Hello.
Hi, Yen.
Hi, guys. Hi, everybody.
Cheers, honey.
Cheers.
So how are you feeling tonight?
A bit anxious, I have to say, because I don't know, I just feel like no matter how prepared or how long you've gone through this, you're just always going to be anxious. So I'm just basking in that.
Yes. Okay, so tell me a little bit about you.
Okay, well, I'm 26, so I've been gay for 26 years at this point. I'm in the early childhood sector, so I work with children, and I am actually not Singaporean. I'm actually Malaysian, but I moved here when I was like 5 or 6, so I've been here all my life. So my experiences revolve around growing up in Singapore and more in the Singapore context, even though I do have some experiences outside of Singapore. But I think mostly we're going to talk about what happens in Singapore. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so tell me a little bit about how you found my sessions and what made you approach me.
Okay, well, I'm very good friends with Idris, as you would know, and I also have heard a lot about you through Kogi and Kaya, because I used to be very close to them, and I knew you as a person. I didn't know anything about you until I watched your live session with Idris. And I was like, hey, that's her, you know. And then now you're rocking this short hairstyle and you've come out, you're married and all of that. And I think what made me want to approach you was that about last month or something, I did, as I'm growing up, I really feel like there's something that needs to be said because these issues are being very normalized, and I'm at the point where I just can't deal with it anymore. And there was a few episodes that happened that I'll be talking about, later, that really, fueled me to just say something about it, because if we don't, who will?
Yep.
I think a lot of times people who are homophobic or whatever, they fear the unknown. They don't know what it is. They're just, they were brought up conformed to what they thought was the norm. But as time goes by, we need to progress with time. We need to evolve with time. We can't just be stuck back there and just say that, you know what, this is normal. We have to stick with it no matter what. Like, it just doesn't work that way anymore, Yeah.
Of course, the limelight is yours. Tell me your story. Tell me your story. Openly be open. Tell people what they need to hear.
Okay. Okay. Well, as we all know, I'm here today to talk about some issues, maybe as a millennial gay man, because I feel like I'm, in between the older generation and the Gen Z, as you might say. And so I've experienced both that and that, like both end of the spectrums. So I think it's not like I am in the closet. I've never actually acted straight or whatever, but I've never explicitly come out on social media or to anybody. It's not like I go around screaming, I'm gay, but
Yeah.
it's just that I just feel like this would be a baby step for me to live my truth. And not only for that, but I also feel like it gives me an opportunity to let other people know that this is fine, this is normal, there's nothing wrong with this. And recently, why I feel like I really want to say something about it is because I feel like I'm growing, I'm evolving, and I'm really coming in touch with who I am. And recently, I've been changing the way I dress, changing the way I keep my hair, I do my nails, and stuff like that. I'm just coming into myself, and these sort of things are usually not considered normal in our society. And I have been getting a lot of flag, a lot of raising of the eyebrows, even from my own family, my friends, the society. So I just, I just feel like at this age, I'm like, enough is enough. I think something needs to be said. And I think everybody just needs to let people live their own truth, you know. Yeah. So that's pretty much why I'm here. I mean, there's still a lot to be said, but this is like the gist of it.
Yes. You did mention about how you're changing your dressing, you're dressing up in the way that you feel comfortable. Do you live with your parents?
Unfortunately.
Okay. And how are their views that you're dressing up differently? Do you show them? Do they know?
Okay, so like how, I don't know about many of you, but I think it's pretty common, right? When girls go out, they wear like short skirts or revealing clothes, so they usually cover up with a jacket and then they leave the house, and then once they leave the house, they take it out and stuff like that. So I think I started off that way. So when I started wearing clothes that were a bit more on the flamboyant side, or something that would be considered feminine or anything like that, I was always like covering myself up before I leave the house and stuff like that. So recently I've just been like just being the way I am. I started openly painting my nails in front of my parents. I started with black, now it's long. I have different colors going on every day, and it really bothers my parents, I have to say. Yeah, I think I had times where my parents were very against me having this sort of clothing or having my nails done before we went to, let's say, a relative's house, because they fear of what a relative might think of us or me and what they might talk about us. So I think that as parents, I understand where they're coming from, because I feel like we all lived in that in small doses growing up, of not knowing what people will say about us or what people will think about us and stuff like that. But I think as you grow, you will just realize that those people who don't accept you the way you are, or think that there's something wrong with you because of the way you are, they're just not worth being in your life. With the exception of my parents, of course. I just think that my parents, they were brought up from a generation where this was bad. Even if you are, they probably blocked that side of them in. And I just feel that you can't just live your life to please your parents all the way. I've thought about coming out to my parents. They found out coincidentally, things went really bad. And, I basically had to lie and say like it was just a phase and whatever to basically just, keep things as normal as possible because circumstances were such. But
Mm.
it comes to a point where you lie down at night and you're thinking like, why am I living a lie? This is not me. You watch TV, you see all this. I feel like recently there's been a lot of light shown on queer people, the community, and I just feel that you watch these things and you're like, I identify to that. I am that. So why can't I be that in my own society, my own community, my own family, my own friends? You know? So it kind of makes you think, and it just brings you to a point where you're just done and you just want to start living your life. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. I think what you're doing today, is already a huge step. I think it's very inspiring to many people out there who find trouble in coming out. Um, I think everyone they will go through that trouble.
Definitely.
Um, this issue that everybody will face is what's going to happen if I'm going to come out to my best friend, to my friend. Let's put family aside. Family is the toughest thing to do,
It is.
in my opinion. But sometimes coming out to friends and on social media also takes a toll. I give you a very huge example. I'm very open on my social media, and that has impacted my professional life
Mm,
because I meet clients, etc., and they found out that I am lesbian.
mm-hmm.
Because if you're gonna meet someone, especially maybe on LinkedIn, they will Google your name, they'll find your social media,
Yeah.
and then the whole topic of discussion from a networking meeting will become a
About your
sexual
sexuality.
about a sexuality. And especially if a straight man, is to find out that I'm lesbian, guess what they will be talking about?
Oh,
And guess
yes.
what they'll be saying? So compared to them looking at me as a professional, now they shift their whole mindset and look at me that, oh damn, she's lesbian. I might be lucky. And
Mm-hmm.
and Cher always says this, you never come out once.
Yeah.
You come out again and again and
Again and
again and
again.
again. If you are gay, you're gonna come out for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Every
I
new
totally agree.
person. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So this is a battle that we are all gonna on keep on going. But for you to come on exposed to your social media like this, I'm very proud of you. I think you have motivated many, many, many people who are
I
watching.
hope so.
Um,
Yeah.
you definitely do. So now I'm just gonna move on straight to the question. Okay, so I'm gonna just pluck it all apart for a fun
Mm-hmm.
question first. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's
Okay.
very fun. Do you know? I've experienced it. I'm sure that every gay man have experienced it. But
Mm-hmm.
you know how many straight people wants a gay best friend?
Oh, yeah.
How many people are you best friends for, and how do you feel about it?
Okay, so I think initially, when I really started coming out of my shell, it's not. I think it started when I was in ITE. I think even throughout secondary school, I wasn't very open about my sexuality, even though if you didn't know, you're probably blind. But I was very open about it in my time in college. And I think everybody was like, oh my God, I've always wanted a gay friend and blah, 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 blah. But I think what they failed to realize is that we are beyond our sexuality. There's a lot more to us than just who we want to fall in love with or have sex with or who we want to date. There's just so much more to a person. It's not like you go to a straight person and be like, oh, okay, let's talk about your straightness. I've always wanted to have a straight friend. Nobody does that. So it kind of hurts your feelings because, it's like, so I'm just needed for my sexuality. So when I'm not being ostracized and when I'm not being attacked or assaulted or questioned for my sexuality, I'm just a trophy to someone, you know, mostly
Yeah.
to women. You get your girls who want to always have their gay best friends, and and guys who want to. Okay, with guys it usually doesn't happen like with straight men, but mostly with girls, from what I've experienced, it's a bit nasty. I think that friendship doesn't work that way. It's not a circle that we're trying to expand. It's not a club.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
so if you're watching this and you're one of those people, please stop. We are not some pets that you want to keep that's like, some exotic breed or something. We're not. We're just humans. We have feelings. We feel the exact same things you guys do. It's just
Yeah.
that we prefer a different gender.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah.
Since you're talking about gender, how do you identify yourself as? You say you paint your nails,
Mm-hmm.
you're wearing turtleneck. I mean, everyone wears turtlenecks. Anyone
It's a
with
bit close
style
these
wears
days.
turtlenecks. Um, but how do you identify yourself as? Do you know, the reason why I'm asking this is because I have some friends, some gay friends, some queer men friends
Mm-hmm.
who they don't want to transition, but they want to be a woman. That's something that I don't have much education for because I'm not the person that goes
Mm-hmm.
straight up and ask someone or a friend because I think this
Yeah.
is personal space and I respect your personal space. So I think many other people who are watching are not educated enough.
Yeah.
How do you identify yourself, and if you can like just educate us a little bit about what we should know?
Okay, so even as a gay man, I think up till recently, I've not really been exposed to many things, I don't really know, I didn't really know what was people who were gender non-binary, with their whole different pronouns and all of that. Like, I used to be those people that I despise now, where if I see someone, I'll be like, not my cup of tea, that kind of thing. I used to be that person, but I just feel like that was because I didn't know what it was.
Mm,
I don't know what it was. I don't know. I just thought it was a trend. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of straight people do. So, I mean, personally talking about it, I think that as gay men, if we feel that we are being ostracized and nobody wants to let us live our truth, what's the difference between us and them if you're doing it to someone else, you
mm-hmm.
know? But coming to the question, what do I identify as? I honestly don't know. I think I identified myself as a man most of the time, but I think that I'm falling more towards the non-binary situation. Yeah, like
That's
I don't really think I conform to a gender, but that doesn't mean that I want to transition or whatever. I'm happy being in my body. I'm very comfortable in my skin. But even if I'm not and I want to do something about it, I really don't think there's an issue. But, speaking of this, I would like to address one thing that I've noticed a bit more recently was that misogynistic men aren't only straight.
preach.
For real. Okay, like I really don't think so. Like, I just think that even if you're gay or whatever you identify yourself as, you can still be misogynistic as fuck. And that's something that I really have drawn an issue with because, like how in straight relationships, women are always, supposed to have a certain role and whatever. That happens in gay relationships too. I'm pretty sure you've heard these questions like, oh, who's the husband and who's the wife in the relationship, or who's the dominant and who's the submissive in the relationship and all that. And I'm like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I just think that gay men always, I mean, we have our own roles, we have the top, we have the bottom, whatever. But I just feel like people forget that that just lies in the bed
Yeah.
and it does not come out to, you know, like, I'm not submissive or whatever in real life. I'm very
Mm-hmm.
dominant, and that's just my personality, and it has nothing to do with my sexual role in bed. And
Mm-hmm.
I just think that bottoms, usually, from what I know, are always expected to be the so-called submissive and, just, you know, And it's so sad because I see so many gay men succumb to this, just wanting to, be taken care of and being bought stuff and that kind of things. It's sad, but it's been normalized. And I think that it's
Mm-hmm.
something we all definitely have to talk about. And they're just seen as lesser than someone who's, apparently masculine and all of that. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work that way,
Yeah.
as much as, you know, if we want to talk about sex, I've topped, I've bottomed. Whatever I feel inside has nothing to do with my personality. That doesn't mean I want to stay at home and wait for a man all day long, cook and clean. Like, I'm not that bitch. So I just think that, misogyny does not stop with straight men. It goes well into the community as well. And I think that's something that really needs to be shut down.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
disagree with you. I think I see that very much. Like there's always the masculine men who are always a clan, like you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
the gay men who are acting that they're straight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then we have got our more versatile and more feminine side of our queer males who are always together. There's always a divide.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll bring this back to the lesbian community as well. There's some lesbians who just want to be cool. They don't want to give a shit about advocating. I
Mm-hmm.
used to be that lesbian where I'm like, I'm in my own world. I don't give a shit about the LGBTQ
Mm-hmm.
community. I'm happy where I am. And then I started writing, and then I impacted one life. One
Mm-hmm.
person who dropped me a text who told me that, Rachel, whatever you're writing is beautiful. It's giving me hope. I think that was the exact word. And that's when I actually realized that, you know what, I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start writing. I'm going to start reaching out. I'm going to start giving people a safe space for them to
Mm-hmm.
come to it. And then what happened was I started losing a lot of my gay friends as well. Because why now Rachel is this whole huge feminist activist that is out there trying to change a
Mm-hmm.
life, trying to push a message across, just trying to advocate. And then now there's a divide where what I am trying to do is be a voice for our community, um, to actually educate, send messages across, to let people ensure that they've got a space to turn to if they need to. And then there they are, people who are playing on the same team as me, bringing me down because right now I'm not that cool, relaxed, laid back Rachel, but I'm a Rachel who advocates for a very strong purpose
Mm-hmm.
or something
Mm-hmm.
that I believe in. So when we talk about how the gay community is standing together and standing strong, we are not.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree.
That's
I
the truth.
definitely agree. I think I think far often we are mistaken. Like, I think, okay, so this particular thing happened to me. It was so funny. I think nowadays I'm a little bit more, I think my friends really start watching out what they tell me or the kind of things they tell about, say in front of me, which might not come off as diplomatic or whatever. And I think a friend of mine, who shall not be named, recently mentioned like she's very scared to talk to me or say anything in front of me because I'm always, there to correct her and stuff. And she's like, kind of feels like you're an insurance agent, and I feel like a lot of people have started avoiding you because you're just pushing your agenda. And I was like, hey, you know what? I think that I'm doing something right if that's the case.
You're
You know,
educating them.
yeah, exactly. And people who, they who are very, the hypocrites are the ones who are going to run away. People who can't accept the reality are the ones who are going to run away. Fabai, I think that, family aside, let's just talk about friends, like you said. When I have friends who are in the closet and they want to come out and whatnot, I think the biggest fear is losing friends.
Mm-hmm.
And this was something I have went through personally, and I've been fearing the most. And I think, well, in the much younger phase of my life, but think about it now, I'm very glad that I did, and I'm very glad that I lost these friends because they are not friends to begin with.
Exactly.
That's just the
Exactly.
truth. That's just reality.
I think that's just growing up. That's what we
Yeah,
realize that
yeah,
we keep our circles like small and close.
yeah,
And in time we will just figure out who are the people who are worth your time.
definitely,
So I
definitely.
want to jump straight to, I know this is a very deep topic. I'm gonna get to the really rough and raw stuff in a bit, but
Mm-hmm.
here's my question to you. As a gay man, what's your view about lesbians?
Okay, I'll be honest. I never exactly had many experiences, or if I can count now, I can barely count. Like, I don't even know how many lesbian acquaintances I have, let alone friends. But from what I know, I think that this is not my perception, but from what I see and what I've heard, I think lesbians are always deemed as manly and tomboyish. Like, I remember, like, there's so many girls who I've worked with, and as long as they seem a bit masculine or whatever, I see someone going like, "Oh, lesbian," and
Yeah,
that's just what lesbians are branded with, you know,
yeah,
and I think that lesbians go way beyond just being butchers. I think you have your feminine lesbians, you have your masculine lesbians, you have lesbians who are androgynous. There's so many different types of people. Like, whether you're a lesbian or whether you're a fucking ape, it just there's just not one way to be yourself.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
that's that's just a sad truth.
the labels that were created are just what's out there more. And labels that have not been created is just things people haven't seen before.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it wrong.
Okay, so before you carry on, I'm gonna ask all my friends who are watching,
Mm-hmm.
what are the misconceptions y'all have heard about lesbians, or what do y'all feel like? What's the first sentence that comes into your mind when you think about
Yeah,
lesbians? What your
I'm
views are?
definitely curious.
So like drop it down. I think that Yen is being super polite by not really sharing their view of a lesbian woman. But the rest of y'all share it if you can, if you want to. So I'm gonna move on to my next question. I had a few questions that came in. Um, when do you think you will come out to your family?
Interesting. Okay, so um, I think I've thought about this a lot, and I think that when I would truly come out, whether I'm ready to come out, yes, but whether I'm in the situation to come out is a totally different thing.
Mm,
So right now I'm 26. I'm still getting my diploma done, and I'm still living with my parents, and technically I'm still under their mercy. I'm still living under their roof. My father's still paying for my education. So let's say if I go and come out to them now, even though I want to, I'm like, I'm ready for that fight, like let's do it. But am I financially in the position to be able to do so? That would be no. Because
mm-hmm,
I can, stand. I mean, this is just my own personal opinion. I think there are people who rather, you know, die than to, which is very valid. But for me, is I just want to be a bit smart about it. I just feel that
mm-hmm.
if I'm not in a position financially to be able to support myself if I get thrown out, because you will never know how things are
Yeah,
gonna go. You will
I
never ever know.
this was the exact same thing that I have spoken to many people because since I started writing my blog and since
Mm-hmm.
people were coming out to me, I had a lot of questions about how to come out. So I
Mm-hmm.
always told them two things. Number one, you will know when the time is right.
Yep.
Number two, look at your surrounding, assess your environment,
Yep.
and see that you're in the position to come out.
Definitely. Definitely.
It's
I mean, I just feel that you cannot expect a reaction when you're saying stuff like this. You can never ever expect a reaction because um, I think in my past, my parents did find out once. And I think around that time, before they did find out, I was telling my sister. My sister's my best friend. She knows absolutely everything about me, and I'm so blessed to have her in my life, to be honest. Like, I don't know what I'll do without her. Like, it's just been an absolute blessing. But moving on, I was, mentioning to my sister, I think I was about 18, 19. I was telling my sister, like, Akka, like, I want to start coming out. I think I should just tell Amma and Appa, like what's the worst that can happen? They will just be unhappy about it, but that's all. She's like, fuck no, you're not doing it, things are not gonna go well. And I was just marinating in that when they did actually find out, and their reaction was something I did not expect.
Tell me.
So I think they found out because I think I came back home drunk or something. And being young, it was like a huge blow to them. Oh, my son's drinking, oh, my son is smoking. And so they took my phone and all that. And I think they went through it and they found out because I was seeing someone at the point of time. So they found out. And I think it was like a triple blast, like, oh, he drinks, he smokes, oh my God, he's stating bad, you know. They did not take it well. I remember I had to stop going to work. I had my phone, my laptop, everything taken away from me. Um, I think they even took away clothes that they deemed was not manly.
Mm.
And I basically, they did not speak to me. They were very angry with me. And um, I had basically zero communication to the outside world for at least 3 months. Yeah. And I'm very, very blessed. Even in such a horrible situation, I was very blessed to have my sister with me because she was there holding my hand every step of the way. And I'm blessed. Not everybody's blessed like that. And
Yeah, it
sometimes, at least in these 3 months, as much as they locked me up or whatever, they were still feeding me. They were still, if I were to fall down and I started bleeding, they're still going to bring me to the hospital. It's not that they loved me any less, it's just that they couldn't accept what I was.
yeah.
And that honestly is a happy ending to what it might have been. There's a lot of people who are shoved out of their house,
Yeah.
because it's all about the honor and whatnot. There was this one particular thing my mom told me that still, it's very fresh in my head. She said, I'd rather die than to tell anybody that my son is such.
Yeah.
It runs in my head till today. And I think that I was always someone who never believed in depression, and I've always been the kind of person to solve my own issues. But I started, like, I think going from that episode onwards, I started having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, and I didn't even know what it was, and to the point where when I actually started seeking help, I found out that this stems from that experience with my parents,
Mm. Mm.
you know and if that has affected me so much, I cannot imagine people who are thrown out of their houses, who have no shelter
Yes.
above them,
Yes.
and who are literally felt to believe that their parents hate them.
Mm.
So it's just that I think that no matter what, I feel like I personally would never want to put myself in that situation ever again. And when I will truly come out to my parents would be when I'm financially stable and I can take care of
Yes.
myself and I'm not depending on them anymore. Yeah, definitely. I don't think, you need to set up, like a luncheon and you be like, oh, parents, no, it's just gotta take care of yourself because no matter what the situation, at the end of the day, circumstances is going to bring you away from people and you truly only have yourself.
Yes.
And you need to make sure you are somewhere before you can start taking certain steps. That's just the sad truth of queer people. That's just how it is, you know. But, it's a step because it has really motivated me to get my education. It has really motivated me to get hungry for power, to do something that matters so that I can get somewhere in life. So I feel like even in such a horrible situation, it has pushed me to be somebody that people would aspire to be, that
Yes.
I have
Oh,
aspired to be. Yeah.
yeah, and I would just like to point out something that it's been 39 minutes since I spoke to you. And there's something that I see in you that I see in myself as well. And I think everybody here will also realize that if you guys actually observed well enough, you talk about something negative that happens in life.
Mm-hmm.
You don't end at that negativity. What you then do is you pluck out something that's positive in there, and you always say that this is such a negative situation, but I'm blessed that this happened. I'm blessed that I have my sister. I'm blessed that my family will still take me to the hospital if I'm injured. You know, and I think, and I'm just gonna bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
That is what helped me go through things. Every negative that happened in my life, I always tell myself, okay, Rachel, let's just find that one positive thing that has happened. And I repeat that to myself. And that is something that helped me with my mental health mostly. So I'd just like to point out, maybe, I'm not sure if you have pointed that out yourself before this, but this is a very good strength. It's a very good technique that we can use. This shit is happening in my life, but there's something positive happening in my life. If we're gonna use this technique through every obstacle, we are going to be safe.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like we don't really have a choice. It's either that
Mm-hmm.
or, you're in the ditch. Because I'll be honest, I am a very bitter and resentful person. I'm very pessimistic. I really am. And I feel like before I survive, I always survive. But before I get to that stage where I try to see the good out of a bad situation, it takes a
Yes.
while. And
Yes.
usually I'm blessed enough to have, my friends, my sister, whatever, to pull me out of that situation. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to absolutely, try to find it in you to see the good out of the bad, honestly.
Out of everything. And I would
Yeah.
also bring that to a person. You always, even the shittiest person, I try to see a good in them. It's not because I want to like them. It's not. It's because I don't want to lose my faith in humanity.
Yeah, unless it's Trump, but I get it.
Oh, I've been reading too much of news about him. Okay, moving it aside. Fun question again, guys. Tell me about your first sex experience.
Right. Um, okay, this was actually very horrible. I think that it's not very different from street people. I think that your first time is always going to be horrible. I was 14. Yes, guys, just marinate in that. I was young as fuck. So, you're curious, you start, whatever, and then it just happened with a classmate of mine. It was absolutely horrible because we had no idea what the hell we were doing.
Okay, sorry. Is it with the male or female?
Yeah, I was always been, yeah, it's always been a
Okay,
man.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So,
A classmate.
um,
Hmm.
it was a classmate. Yeah, and it was just, I think because there's a lot of technical things that you have to do and prepare before. Okay, so what's the funny part was it is not even the actual thing. It was just that, you growing up, you always thought that sex was taboo and it's
Yeah.
against, whatever, you have to be married and stuff like that. So I remember once we were done, I was in the bus stop, right? And I was waiting to go back home. I started bawling my eyes out. I was like, I'm going to hell. I've had sex before marriage. Oh my God, I've committed the cardinal sin. Like, it's
Hmm.
just insane. I think that also stems from the fact that we have always been brought up to be very sex negative,
Yes, that's true.
to be ashamed of our sexualities, to, the whole I've been that guy, like where I'm like, oh, you're a slut, you're a whore. I've been that person. I have no trouble admitting that I was part of the problem once, you know. So I just think that many people just, go on with their life just thinking that having sex is wrong and that their duty, or especially women, from what I've heard, it's so sad, especially straight women, where they think that their whole duty of having sex is to just please the man.
Oh, damn. They have never been with a lesbian. That's the problem.
It's so sad. And during my time in the army, oh God, all these men, their whole sex stories and the way they talk about women, and it's bad lah. That's about what I can say. Yeah, and my first experience was that, and I think, in the gay sexual roles in bed, you have the top and you have the bottom. So I'm gonna bring it. It was supposed to be fun, but I'm gonna bring it more towards a very dark place now. So my first experience was that I was a top, and my second experience was that I was a bottom, but it was involuntary. So basically, I was raped, right? So it was this guy that I was seeing. At that point of time, I wasn't ready for it. We were just in bed, we were just cuddling, whatever. He pushed for it, and you know, he proceeded to, rape. So I think that what really affected me the most was that I think it took me a few days to come to reality of what actually has just happened to me, to just acknowledge that shit I've just been. And I think for the longest time, I didn't tell anybody because I was ashamed that I allowed myself to be put in a situation because I could already hear the mind voices. Why the fuck were you there? Why the fuck were you in his bed? You asked for it. You did this. You did that. I already, went through all these questions in my mind. And what am I going to do? Tell my parents? What am I going to do? Go to the police and be like, oh, yeah, I got raped by a man, because we were making out. So I think that I went through many years thinking about it and about that particular event. Like, it wasn't even something that was just like, it wasn't just invasion. It was more, I was in pain, I was bleeding and, stuff like that. So the reason why I'm sharing this is because I really want to bring light to this. I just feel that this is so much more common than you can imagine. I've heard so many times about men being raped right outside places like tantric, right in public places, by foreigners, by white men, by so many kinds of people. Like, it is horrible, and it's more common than we think. And the only reason why it's not brought up in the media is because it's not opposite genders doing it. And often these people do not seek legal help because it's against the law.
Because it's an offense. It's an offense to be having
Mm.
sex.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is
But
so fucked up. I'm sorry.
it is very fucked up, and it really took me a while to stomach the situation and to talk about it. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this on a very public platform, but I really wanted to talk about it because don't ever feel that just because it's not between two opposite genders that it's okay and nobody will help you. There's no such thing. As long as there's no consent, you can send that bitch to jail. You can go
Okay,
to the police.
so right now, if I'm so sorry, I'm so sad hearing this story, but if let's say two gay men, if a gay man got raped by another man, will he get into trouble if he goes to the police and reports it?
Okay, the thing is, from my understanding, the only thing that's not right is sexual intercourse or oral sex and stuff like that between two men. I think oral sex is not even legal between men and
No, it's
women,
not.
from what I know. Yeah.
Not in
So,
public spaces, yeah.
yeah. So if it is not consensual, you did not ask for it, it happened to you. So you can seek legal help. And it will happen. I think recently, I think there has been a little bit of media coverage on things like this, like with Dkosh and some things that's been I heard that happened, like this guy raped this guy in a toilet and all this kind of stuff. So I think that no matter what the gender or whatever, rape is rape. And
Rape is rape.
yeah, and at the end of the day, it was not consensual. You can still report his ass and you can still fight for it,
Yes.
for sure. Yeah.
I would just like to bring that limelight across as well. The
Mm-hmm.
limelight has always been shown on women when
Mm-hmm.
it came to rape.
Mm-hmm.
Statistically speaking, and if you actually see the current century, there are a lot of men who are getting raped,
Mm-hmm.
especially young boys. Why is the media not covering it? Why? So this is where the objectification comes in. Girls get raped because they're sexual beings. When men get raped, it's fine because they are the people. They are like the predators of sex.
Yeah.
So in two ways, um, we are both our genders. This is
Yeah.
not talking about queer already. This is about two genders, which is a male and a female.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that rape is not taken seriously for male rape victims.
Definitely. I just think that it's so funny. I just wanted to bring this out. I'm in the early childhood industry, right? And so I went by, I think I've worked in about three centers at this point, and I worked in the government center the most as a teacher. And let me tell you, my time as a teacher has been one of my most fulfilling experiences in my life. I think, that is my call. But as a man, I'm never allowed to do routine care for children, which means showering them, changing the diapers, blah, 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 blah. Which, I mean, if you want to be funny about it, yeah, it's a blessing. I don't want to be doing that either. But when it comes to equality and you are really thinking about it, it's like, so does that mean that you're not comfortable with men doing that because we are predators? So I went through the whole, I don't know how many years, just thinking that it was against the rules, to even do anything. So I remembered when you're in a childcare, you can't just expect a child to go to the toilet alone. And if you're the only male teacher there, I remembered always standing right outside the toilet facing the camera because if something happens, I need to be able to protect myself.
Yeah.
So I went on and on and on. And right now, I'm doing my diploma in early childhood. And we were having this discussion, and my lecturer told me that it's actually not against ACTA's rule that men cannot do routine care. And this is just something the centers came up with on their own.
Okay.
And
That doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
so it's just baffling to me because you have no idea how women take advantage of men or anything when it comes to sexual assault. I've seen with my two eyes women, sexually assaulting children. It doesn't, and these things mostly doesn't even come to light because it's just not seen that way, you
Mm,
know. So I just feel like I'm usually always trashing men, I'll be honest. But when it comes to this, I just think that there has to be a line drawn.
yeah.
It has nothing to do with gender. Whether you're a man or you're a woman, you're still capable of sexually assaulting someone.
Yeah, it's a society
Definitely.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a view that society has impacted on us.
Definitely. It's really sad lah, but it is what it is lah. And I just think that there needs to be more people to come out and talk about this because it's so funny that I'm required to not touch a child, not carry a child, not show a child love just because I'm a man. So why am I in this industry? So why am I, being trained? Why do you guys want more male teachers? You want like, what do you want? You want that diversity, but with conditions, it just doesn't work that way? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Talking about that, since you're in the childcare sector, how do
hmm
parents view you, like when you're in school and you have your nails painted? Um, have you had a bad encounter?
Okay, so when I was actually teaching, whether we are female or male, we are not allowed to have long nails or painted nails due to hygiene
Okay.
issues. Yeah, because
Mm,
they don't want the nails chipping into food and all that. Because we constantly deal with things that's going into children's stomach, so safety is an issue. So I don't have nails, nothing like that. But a little bit to talk about my experience is that I have been very blessed to, for some reason, parents just like me. I think that maybe that has something to do with my personality because I take the effort to go and talk to parents, to form a relationship with parents so they get an idea of who I am and whatever. But
mm,
since I did my early childhood in school, I have male classmates who are more on the introverted side, who don't really talk much. That doesn't mean they're bad in their job, who don't really mingle, and far often parents are very uncomfortable with male teachers. And I mean, even me, when I started working in centers, eyebrows were raised until they knew who I was or who I am as a person, till they figured
mm.
me out. They always want to figure you out first. But yeah, I just feel like it shouldn't even be a thing because no one bats an eye with a female teacher. So the moment a male teacher is there, people are scared. You know what I mean? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we had this one particular incident where I was in a class. So I was in charge of a K2 class, right? So um, children these days are a bit exposed than normal. Where I had a student who actually um, started touching everybody's butts and everything, and started, I mean, kids are kids, so it became, the episode started continuing, and what happened was that I told my principal about it, and my principal was like, yeah, it's time to have that talk with the class. So I did clarify with her. I was like, okay, so what do you want me to call their private parts as? Should I come up with that pee pee poo poo nonsense, or should I just call it the way it is? Because it's children, it's very sensitive. So she said, no, you just have to call it the way it is. So I had a talk with my class. I was like, your penis belongs in your pants unless you're peeing with the door closed. I had the entire talk. And then I think one of the girls in my class, she actually went back home and she was playing with her doll. And mind you, her father's a police officer. And she just starts screaming, penis, 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 in the middle of the house playing with her doll. And then her father actually looked at her, and she was like, so where did you learn this from? And she said, oh, I learned it from teacher Yen. So,
Oh,
I'm very,
shit.
yeah. So I'm very blessed in a sense that the father did not jump to conclusions. He actually came to the center to clarify. But let me tell you, this never happens.
Mm.
Honestly, this never ever happens. So if I was a parent and I heard that, I'll be like, what the, like I would want to really go down to the center and give a good one. So I guess I was very lucky enough to have had that situation, but
Mm.
things could have gone south very, 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 very
Easily.
easily. Yeah.
Correct. So I think you're lucky that way.
Yes.
All the best for your diploma
Thank you so much.
and advancing into your career. With children, I can never work with children. I would, you see those people who are gets on camera hitting the child. I will be
Yeah,
that teacher if I'm working in a childcare center. Not a job for me.
not a job for you.
Uh, okay, and I think I've seen before we move on, right, guys, if you all
Mm-hmm.
have any questions, words of encouragement for Yen, I'll like you all to drop it in the comment section. Let us know questions for Yen, especially if y'all are getting something to ask him. Just type it down. On top of that, before I carry on, it's going to be an hour soon, so I'm not sure if my live Instagram will actually be switching off within an hour. And just to let you all know, on Saturday, we are actually having a Zoom discussion where all of us, up to y'all, whether you want to switch on your camera, switch off your camera, on your mic, off your mic. Yen is also going to be there, right, Yen?
Yep, I'm gonna be there.
Yes?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. And we are going to be talking about mental health. After our conversation, Yen, I actually have a very huge interest on having a topic which is also rape.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we have to do something about changing the laws,
Definitely.
and thank you very much, Shamlis, who actually gave us a bit more insight into if you are a rape victim, how you can go about a little bit about the law, right? So that is something that I would like to talk about. Maybe we can talk about this later on. If anybody
Yep,
else have got experience in this, drop me a text if you guys want to voice out and share with us your experience. Especially like what Yen mentioned, there are many people out there who are probably victims, but they're not coming out.
yeah,
Talk to us about it. We can always refer some places that you guys can seek help, or you can even
definitely.
talk to us. We come as friends, as a good helping hand and ears for y'all. So yes, for our Saturday, is it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday we're doing it at 10 p.m. because a lot of us are busy. So we're gonna do a late night Zoom session that we're gonna cover on mental health issues, especially and if I'm not wrong, is dating culture
Mm,
here in Asia. So it's gonna be a very fun
I have a lot to say about
topic,
that.
right?
Yeah,
So if you guys would like to join, it's not only for the queer people, it's not only for the lesbians, it's not only for the gay men, for allies as well. So if you guys are
definitely.
straight and y'all want to just come in, have experience a little bit more to know about what's happening in mental health covers everyone. It's not just a queer thing. it affects. So I would invite all of y'all to join us for the Zoom session on Saturday. It's going to be really fun. Right now we have got about 10 plus people who are actually joining. For us to come in, make friends, have inputs, and I think it's not about giving inputs. It's about being a support system for somebody else.
Definitely.
I think that's one of the most important things that we can do right now. So I'm not going to end yet because my live session is still going on. But Yan, tell me about your worst. Okay, I know that the rape thing was the worst, but tell me a funny sex story that you went through.
Okay. Okay. So someone who's not supposed
You
to be watching this just joined in. I should probably not want to talk about it in front of her. She's actually the child of one of my very good friends. I just
okay,
feel that she's a
okay.
bit too young to be hearing this, Tardi. If you're hearing this, please leave.
Okay, okay. We'll get to that later, okay, once she
Yeah.
leaves. Um, but for now, what will your advice be to anyone else who wants to come out?
Okay, definitely. Okay, I feel like coming out is different for everybody. I feel that, with me, when I was actually coming out and all that, it wasn't that I went around just telling people like, hey, I'm gay, like I gathered my friends. I just think that, when people asked, I'll just be like, yeah, I am. But I think that everybody needs to be ready to be able to come out. Like I just think that
Mm,
there's this whole culture that's going around that's like, oh, if you're not gay, if you don't admit it, you're full of shit. You're not. The person who's telling you that is full of shit. It just doesn't work that way. You have your own personal experiences, you have your own circumstances you have to deal with, you have your own things that you have to deal with. You can't just go out and be like, yep, hey bitches, it's me, and not expect repercussions. Like with me, I feel that the biggest thing that I fear the most is my relationship with my parents, because no matter what, I just feel that I would never want to lose them as much as anybody would. I don't want to lose my parents because they're not bad people. They don't not love me. Nothing like that. I
mm,
love my parents beyond words, and I'll die for them just as much as they would for me. I just think that I have to be a bit smart about it, and I will have to do it when I'm financially stable. And speaking of which, I was talking to, it was like this very late night drunk conversation with a friend, and we were talking, and I was just like, because my parents are from uh Malaysia. My mom's from this place called Klang, my dad's from this place called Cameron Highlands, and these two basic places are basically very villagey, it's very backward, yeah, it's basically like watching a Tamil village movie, Cameron's like, that's the kind of
mm.
people you would expect to find there, you know
Yeah.
so I was talking, and I would try my best to translate it to English. This was a conversation in Tamil to my friends. I was saying that, okay, so if I went to Cameron Highlands now and I told everybody like, hey, um, I'm gay, everybody would be like, oh, I'm a wombode, that kind of thing. But if I went there as a successful person, let's not even go to money, as someone who's established, as someone who's doing well, as someone who does something that matters, that helps people and all that. And if I go there, they'll be like, அவன் ஒம்போது ஆனா அவனுக்கு காசு இருக்கு அவன் இது செய்றான் அவன் அது செய்றான் that kind of thing. People always place importance over, at the end of
Okay,
the day,
wait.
ultimately.
Let me translate. Let me translate. All right. So what he said was,
Okay,
when he goes
okay.
there in Tamil, how people are gonna talk about is they're gonna say that he's gay, but he's doing really well, and stuff. So it's fine. Just to let you know, I know all our local languages, so come at me. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, so I just feel that, when I always say this, and I feel that the one who really agrees with me on this was Idris. I just feel that as queer people, as people who are part of the LGBTQ plus community, we just need to make something out of ourselves. We need to be, someone that people have to look, aspire to be and all that. Like, we absolutely need to make something out of ourselves, because we need to, like, I don't think it's about proving, but I just feel that our quality of life should not be, any less different from as a straight just because of our sexuality. Like it just should
Mm.
not be that way. And we should work just as hard, or if not harder, to reach that level. Yeah, like I'm always telling people, please go to school, please get your education, please do what you want to do. It doesn't have to be a high paying job. It's just follow your passion, do what matters for you, because at the end of the day, you need to be able to stand on your 2 feet.
Yep.
You only have yourself, you know? So I just
Mm-hmm.
think that that's very important, and that's something that I really, really want to advocate to people. Go get your
Mm.
education, be exposed to what's happening around the world, do your part, you know, and don't bring others down. I think the one thing I really want to say is that there was this one guy that I had a connection with. I would like to, talk about, and he was watching before, and I really do hope he's watching again. He's still watching. What happened was, he and I, we had some thing going on when we were much, much younger, and it didn't really go anywhere because we were very young, and nothing happened. But I think years and years later, he pretended to be straight. He was that straight acting guy, whatever. I mean, you do you. I mean, if you're ready to come out of the closet, please do. If you don't, just stay in it, like, till you're ready to do so. Until I had no issues with that, until I was scrolling through Facebook, and he actually posted a photo of two gay men getting married. And his caption was, "What the hell is this, la?" And I have an issue with that because I don't know what your sexuality is, whether you're bi-curious or you're just gay or you're bi, whatever it is, you do not bring someone down, especially being in the community,
Mm.
So to which I finally replied, it's equality. And but I just feel that, if you're in the same community, especially guys, please don't bring each other down. If it's weird to you, let them live their
Just
truth.
shut up about it.
Straight
Yeah.
people, I find straight people very weird too. It's not like I go around, saying fuck you, straight people. Like, I don't do that. It's just so funny to me when, like, really, like, established platforms come up with fucking terms like transgenderism and how it's being forced down their throat. I'm like,
Yeah.
just stop. Like, no, it's not affecting you. If you don't like being gay, then don't you be gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Just stop, shitting on people's life. It's as
No,
simple as that.
that's
Yeah.
I think that's just something that people go through. Most I would say mostly gay men, but I think a lot of gay people will go through that stage of denial and hate
Yeah.
um
It's kind
for
of a
the
way
LGBT
to
community
stay in the closet without, suspicion, sort of thing.
being exposed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I have hope, maybe not our generation, but the strawberry generation probably bring um a little bit of world peace in the LGBTQ
Yeah,
community. I think they're
definitely.
gonna be grown into the space where, because we are educating them about equality, they are going to actually walk
Yeah.
beside equality. So I do see the change coming. I
Yeah,
do
me too. It's
see the
slow, but I see
children.
it.
It's not our time, but
Yeah,
we can ensure that our nieces, grand nieces and nephews, they're gonna, if they're gay, they're gonna have a better life.
definitely.
Then we do
Definitely.
have families that are gonna be more supporting, accepting. But I guess this is where we're moving towards.
Yeah.
I think one of the conversation we're all gonna have during our Zoom session on Saturday is also about if same-sex marriages is going to happen in Singapore, especially. We've got people joining in from overseas. So we've got Proud joining us from Thailand as well. She's advocating for the community in Thailand. Um, so to end this thing off, it's been an hour. Um, your friend's daughter isn't in anymore. Would you like to end off with a bang?
Funniest. Okay, there's been a lot, trust me, but the funniest was when okay, the funniest was, okay, so I met this guy, so I was at a club, so Met this guy, he was all of that, I think it was like in his early 30s or something. He was very like, that power dude and everything. And then back to his place and, we started getting it on and all that. And he suddenly starts talking to me in baby talk. Like, when I mean baby talk,
What?
like, I mean
Do
like
it mimic him?
baby talk as in like, Jesus, okay, this is bad. Like, do you want to put my ooey in your, with like really just very babyish things. Like, it was very disturbing. I was highly disturbed, and sadly, the brother did not rise up to the occasion, and it ended very awkwardly. And I remember just going back thinking, what the fuck just happened? Like, it was just crazy. And as much as there's many other crazy stories, this just does not stop. Like, yeah. Like, guys, if y'all are out there, please don't. I mean, maybe it's a thing. Like, maybe, you want to talk about it first. Just don't ever, just cut it out.
Yeah, I think communicate and ask each other what each other likes. I think that's the best way
Yeah,
around having a
before.
good sex session, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
do you have any,
definitely.
you did message me this. You did ask me if I'm open to questions. So do you have any questions for me?
Definitely. Okay, so one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, do you think growing up, it's easier to be a gay woman than it is to be a gay man? And please tell us about your experiences and your opinion on that.
I would say as a lesbian woman, we are luckier than you guys,
Mm-hmm.
than gay men in the sense that we don't get beaten up for being lesbians. We don't have a law that says that women and women can't have sex with each other. Um, I think it's unfair. I
Mm-hmm.
feel sad, and that's something that I always told my friends. Even my gay friends or straight friends that I think lesbians we are more in terms of society. Yeah, we are luckier than most gay men are. I think the only thing that I would bring about being a lesbian is about how men sexualizes us.
Yeah,
And that's something that you guys don't get. Maybe you guys do sometimes. But
not as
women
much as you
just,
guys. Yeah, definitely not.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we women, we get just sexualized as sexual beings, and especially if you're lesbians, it doesn't just raise eyebrows, it raises something else, right? Um, and I think it's very gross. It's something,
Like,
and I,
what are the, give us some examples. Like, oh,
I had,
spend a night with me, I'll turn you, that kind of thing.
oh, I've gotten the whole turn thing. I've gotten the whole my wife is bi or my girlfriend is bi. We can have threesome thing.
Oh,
To
God.
when someone finds out that I'm lesbian and then they be like, oh, it's really hot. I like lesbians. I'm like,
Mm,
what do you expect of a lesbian? What if I go up to a married person? I'm like, oh, you and your wife, you're married? Oh my God. I mean, to married people, it's awkward as shit. It's disrespectful.
yeah,
It's awkward as
it's very
hell. Um,
disrespectful.
yeah. So answering back to the question, I think no. I think that lesbian women has it easier than gay men, to be honest. I can't see the whole getting assaulted. I think as women, people still have that respect that don't hit a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But being a gay man, and having to go through the the repeal for 377A, and all that when we lesbians don't have that problem. It doesn't, nobody, okay, not many people now turns around, and raise any eyebrows when they see two women walking hand in hand. But it's very
Mm,
different, when you see two men walking hand in hand.
definitely, definitely.
Uh, so in terms of society, yes, the lesbian women community, we have it slightly easier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so my view is that something's gotta change. I think it's not equality. I don't think that's fair. I think that gay men needs to stand a chance to walk hand in hand without getting assaulted.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just feel like maybe in this particular way, maybe women are not as, you know, bullied or attacked as much as men, but there are many other ways women are being attacked that men aren't. So let's just
Yeah.
call a spade a spade. Yeah, honestly. But yeah, it's good to know. Like I do because I've heard a lot of like stories about, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not trying to be ignorant, but I just feel like women do have an easier time coming out than men because of,
Mm.
yeah.
I think so as well.
Hmm. Which is great,
I
which is great,
yeah.
honestly. I just feel like that's the way it should be. But, I just feel that because of what society has placed on, the roles of men and women, it's just, in that sense, it's a bit easier for women and it's slightly tougher for men. But, like you were saying, it's very, very, very fucking slow, but I see the progress.
Yeah, the progress will be
Yeah,
there. I think we got to keep
yeah,
advocating. We got to keep educating
definitely.
people more about this reason, the purpose that we're doing this. But I really appreciate you for coming out today. Like all the messages you received earlier, proud of you. We love you. We're here. We're all here for you. And I can tell you that whatever you have shared today probably have inspired a few people for themselves, for them to just look back into their life. And the way you talk about things, the way you bring in positivity to every negative impact that you have, it's such a strength of yours, that I admire as well. I can't thank you enough. I'm so
No,
glad that
thank you for
you
giving me the opportunity, Rachel. Really, I really appreciate it. I just feel that I can't talk to everybody. I mean, yeah, we're on a social media platform and stuff like that, but honestly, I wouldn't have agreed to do this with anybody except you. Yeah, so
that's
thank you
so
for giving me
sweet.
the
Thank you.
opportunity. Thank you for, my whole goal was to not come here and, draw attention to me, but my whole intention was to come here and put across messages and tell people that this is the things you can do and this is how it is. So I'm glad that I got to do that with you. And I really want to give this shout out to Deepan, Idris, and my two lovely sisters who just kept sending heart shapes after heart shapes. Two people I'll never be anything without. So thanks.
It's our honor, it's my honor, for you to be coming out on this platform and actually choosing me. It's such an honor. I feel so privileged to be the person to hear your story, and to bring out a little bit more of you out of you. Be true to yourself. We're all here together. I know there's some people who are playing on the same team as us who's not going to be supportive as us, but
Yeah,
there are a group of people like us who we're going to
yeah,
stand together. We're going to support each other, we're going to love each other, and we will continue to push each other up.
yeah, definitely. I mean, there's just this one thing I want to say and end it off like with my experience today is that guys, no matter where you are in life or no matter what your sexuality is or whatever, just think about who you're surrounding yourself with because at the end of the day, you are the product of who you surround yourself with. Let me just end it with that.
Yes, preach.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, darling, and
Thank you
I'll
so
see you
much,
soon.
Rachel. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, thank you all for joining, sticking, and watching for the past hour and 15 minutes or so. I'm very, very glad. Um, the next session will come out soon. Message me, join us for our Zoom session. The link is already in one of my posts, Instagram posts on LesBeHeard. So bye, guys.